All right, bienvenidos, buenas tardes, buenas noches, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Big Will with Go Explore Panama, and this is the Panama Relocation Q&A. So welcome everyone. If you are tired of the grind and looking for a better quality of life, you're definitely in the right place. Tonight, I'm excited because we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, Panama, life in Panama, how to get here, and how we can help you do all that good stuff. So, um, who am I? Again, I'm Big Will, the founder of Go Explore Panama. My wife and I, Sonia, moved to Panama going on 5 years ago, and we found peace. We moved for a certain number of reasons, which I'm sure some of the people watching this video are going to share. Financial struggles, uh, two professionals living in the DC area, trying to keep our heads above water with all of the various and sundry things, mortgages and car notes and student loan debt and all the good stuff that comes along with being an American. And then, safety, police issues, subprime loan, mortgage being targeted with that kind of stuff, corporate America. So it was a whole ball of wax that led to our decision to come here. And we found peace, we found tranquility, and, we bumped our head uh, coming in. So we wanted to make sure, what's the old adage? If you're climbing a ladder, you need to reach back and help other people climb that ladder after you. So that's what we did. We started a YouTube show talking about our experience, and that YouTube show developed into people asking for help and consultations. And here we are. Running the whole business, helping people as a licensed tour operator relocate and have fun excursions in Panama. So that's who we are. Call to action. Let's go ahead and start dropping questions in the chat now, and I'll get to as many as I can. While I get wait for people to put questions in the chat, I will go over a few basics to kind of get your mind going with. So the core topic: why Panama? Why in the world would anyone want to be in Panama? Okay. Number one, financial stability in the dollar. Look, there's no currency exchange headaches. The same money that's in your wallet right now in the United States, you can use in Panama. The only difference between the money here and the money in the States is they have a coin. I don't have one on me, but it's a silver coin that has a gold inner circle coin embedded in it. That's called a Balboa. In fact, that's what they officially call their dollars the Balboa, even though it's George Washington dollar bills. This Balboa coin is also a dollar. So that's the only difference. If you come here and people are going to give you Balboas and change. If you give them a five and it was $1.25, you're probably going to get three of those coins back with $1 and then some coins. So spend all those coins before you get back on the plane to go home. But financial stability, the dollar, financial stability, come on, the canal. The canal is a money making generator. So infrastructure and proximity. Look, the infrastructure here is sound, it is modern, and it's not just the infrastructure for buildings. It's the infrastructure for things like internet access. We have good connectivity here. We're accessing government systems when we moved here as remote workers, so no problems. There's a lot of digital nomads working here in Panama, so the internet is good. The medical infrastructure is astounding. It is amazing. Of all the things we upgraded moving to Panama from the DC area, by far, healthcare access is the greatest thing, and we didn't see that coming. And in proximity, neither one of us wanted to be, more than 5 hours away, 5 hour flight away from our home in case of an emergency. People get sick. We've had family members pass away. We've had to go back. So Panama is a 4.5 hour flight to BWI right now. There's a direct flight with Copa. Yay! Because we used to have to fly to Dulles when we first moved here. Another good reason for why Panama, if you're retired and drawing a pension, government pension or private pension, you can apply for what's called the pensionado visa. Look, that visa is sweet. It's sweet to death. And number one, it's the cheapest visa to get. It's only going to run you about $1,500 in lawyer's fees. It's the fastest visa to get. You'll have your permanent residency card in about 10 to 14 days. So, I mean, it's 6 months for everybody else. And you get all these discounts. Look, it's discounts off of travel. I think it's 25% off of travel, discounts off of hotels in Panama or resorts. Movies are half off. Food, discounts of food when you go out to eat, discounts off your utilities, electricity. It's sweet. It's sweet. Look, I just booked a tour for a family, and two of the people are coming are the grandparents, and they're Panamanians. They have the Hublado discount, which is the basis for the pensionado. Panama treats its retired people the same exact way. They get all those same discounts I just talked about. So when you have that pensionado visa, Panama's just giving you access to what they already give their own folks. So that's a pretty sweet perk if you can qualify for it. Another reason for why Panama, healthcare and quality of life. Touch on that a little bit. So let me go ahead and address some of the elephant in the room questions before I even get to the main chat questions. So, number one, common concerns: is it safe? Y'all, look, you're gonna be safer as soon as you step up that plane. I mean, I'm dead serious. The crime rate here is very low. They don't have mass shootings, so that right there makes you safer already. They don't really do gun homicides. Crimes against women are minimal. I'm not saying that it's crime free. If you're from an urban area, DC, Atlanta, Chicago, whatever, you already know to keep your head on the swivel. You'll be just fine here. Language barrier. Do you need Spanish? Honest answer: you can survive without it, but it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. You'll thrive a lot better with it. And I'm not fluent. I'm still learning, and I'm already thriving, y'all. Look, I run a business. I run a business. I run a business. I came here and started a business. It's amazing. Another common concern is island time, even though it's not an island. It's really an isthmus, but Americans like to think about the Caribbean, and it is a Caribbean spot, but we're not an island. But here it's called manana culture. That when is something going to happen, and somebody will say, "Oh, manana." That doesn't really mean like tomorrow morning. That just means when we get around to it. So, um, let me see. I got some questions that came in already. Let me take a break and address some of the stuff because that's what you're here for. Outside of any lawyer or immigration fees. Oh, yeah. Thank you for joining and thank you for your question. Outside of any fees and moving costs, how much would you suggest to save before moving? Look, that's a highly individual question. I'm 56 years old and married and bougie. I like, polo and Benzes and stuff like that. So, what I tell you to save is, I don't know if I'm an average person or not. Look, you'll have to really come to terms with that on your own. We can talk about, the average cost of living here. That's a much better approach than what you individually need to save. I have no idea if you're coming with, yourself or family or kids or whatever. But renting, that's the number one expense, real estate. So in cities, the city is the most expensive part of the country to live in. Coronado and the beaches are the second most expensive. So I'm going to give you information about the city because that's where we are. You can find a one bedroom here in a safe neighborhood, and it's all pretty safe. But you can get a one bedroom unfurnished, maybe for $800, furnished for 1,000. It's very common for apartment units to come fully furnished. But be on your P's and Q's when you're looking. Fully furnished means different things to different people. Uh, I will say this is very common. Fully furnished doesn't just mean furniture. Every apartment that we've had that was fully furnished also had plates, silverware, kitchen utensils. Some of them even had, linens for the bed and everything. So keep that in mind. But rent's going to be your highest thing. The other costs, depends on how much you eat out. Do you eat at the touristy restaurants? Do you eat at the Panamanian local fondas? Because you can go get Fat Boy Fed for $5, and that's enough for lunch and dinner. Or you can go to this nice restaurant over here and spend $75 for two, and y'all have one or two drinks. So it's going to be a range. I hope that helps you out a little bit. Second question: how is it as far as safety and comfort to travel by car from city to city? That's easy. Panama has modern infrastructure, so they have highways. They have streets. They have planes. There's a train, although the train doesn't really let you off anywhere yet. They are building the subway is going to be extended from the city all the way out to the Pacific coastline to like Coronado. So it's about halfway there now, but they haven't opened up any of the stations outside of the city yet. But we lived in Coronado for the first year, and we drove back and forth from the city. It's easy to get around. The roads, they have paved roads, and the quality of the roads, it's similar to the DC. If you're from the DMV area and you've ever driven on 295 going into the DC, you're dodging potholes. So same rules apply here. But getting around is not a problem at all. It's a modern country with all the modern conveniences. And let's see, got a comment. Yeah, great questions. They are pretty good questions. And yeah, you got another one. So here we go. Family is looking to move into the San Francisco area. That's where I live. How far is the city versus the beach? Okay, so I'm not sure how far the city, far from the city from what? I'll just assume you meant like the airport. So the international airport in Panama is Tucumán, and everybody's going to land there. That's the only. Well, there's a second international airport, but you're not going to fly in on any of the planes going to the second one. Tucumán is right outside the city. It's just like any other major airport. It's literally, 5 to 10 minutes to the closest neighborhood. It's a highway that connects Tucumán with Panama City proper, and then Panama City's on the coast, so we're on the Pacific coastline. So I know you can't tell, but out my window is ocean. So I mean, I'm seeing streets too. I'm in San Francisco. I'm like 3 blocks off the ocean, but I can still see it. Um, the beaches, on the other hand, oh, how far is the city from the beaches? Maybe that's what you meant. So there's a couple of beaches in Panama City proper, like the downtown area where you see all those skyscrapers and stuff. But you probably don't want to be in those beaches. I don't even see Panamanians doing those beaches too much. The closest beach is either Toboga Island, which is accessible by ferry. It's a 25 minute ride on the ferry, or you can call Go Explore Panama. We do private boat charters to Toboga Island. We actually take you to the other side of the island that people that ride the ferry never get to see. And with us, it's only 15 minutes to get over there because, anyway, that's where the closest nice beach is. So, like when we moved to the city and we wanted the beach day, we went to Toboga. There's a beach where you don't have to take a ferry, but you do have to drive. It's across the canal, and it's in Veracruz. Veracruz is in the neighborhood called Panama Pacifico. Panama Pacifico used to be Howard Air Force Base for any of the old vets out there. So it's right next to the canal. The U.S. maintained control over 5 miles on each side of the canal. That was the canal zone. So that was for Americans only. Panamanians weren't allowed unless they were special. You had to work for us, be a doctor, or do something. So, any specific areas that have 2 bedroom and 2 bath? Yeah, that's very common. That's very common. It's all over the city. Okay. Relocating with your sister-in-law and your husbands. Yes. How much is the relocation tour for a group of 4, and how often does it happen? Fantastic question. That gives me a chance to talk about the business. Thank you so much. So we have two flavors of relocation tours. I'll describe the main one because it's all encompassing package. The main one is a week long. We start on a Monday and you end on a Friday. So you'd probably want to travel on set if you're only coming for the relocation tour. A lot of people come and then do the tour up front and then stay for a month. But if you're just coming for the relocation tour, come in on that Sunday and look to leave on Saturday. Um, the purpose of the tour is to connect you with immigration attorney, English speaking doctor, and real estate expert. We're going to have meetings with all three of those experts. I'm going to take you to those meetings myself. It's a private tour. I will be introducing group tours later on this year. Since it's a private day and the website, the booking calendar shows any available open dates. During that week, we do all kinds of things. You meet with the experts. We take you on in-depth neighborhood tours. So it's primarily based in Panama City. If you are interested in going to Coronado, we can take you to Coronado for the day. It's an add-on to the regular price of the tour because Coronado's an hour and a half to 2 hours away. So we have to, you know, compensate for the 4 hours of drive time that's going to be involved in going to Coronado, but we can do it in a day trip. We do it all the time. In-depth tours, meeting the experts. We take you to expat events. Well, I'm not going to call them expat events because that's going to give you the wrong frame of mind. We're going to take you to a local Panamanian jazz club that happens to be a favorite spot for expats, so that you can, number one, meet some other expats and ask them about, their life here, and number two, see what the culture is like here, hanging out and being at the bar and all that good stuff. It's a lot of fun. Um, you get a full real estate tour during the week as well. You spend the entire day with my real estate broker. He's going to be in contact with you weeks before the tour to get your desired, I want a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom in San Francisco type things. And, he's going to ask you how help you want. That's something you need to consider here. There are a lot of skyscrapers. The building I'm in is 32 floors and it's pretty tame. We just moved from a 65-story building. So, you know, when he asks you how high up you want, have an answer. 'Cause, otherwise he's gonna show you something on the 52nd floor and ask you to come out on the balcony with him. So look, Panama's gonna challenge your sense of heights, no doubt. But you spend a whole day with him on the tour, and then there's some other touristy stuff that we throw in there, including the last day is my favorite part. We take you up to the Caribbean side of Panama, and we do the Cologne Culture and Beach Day. So Cologne is the district. There's 8 districts in Panama. Panama City is in Panama District. These districts are like states. Cologne, the city, is in the Cologne district. It doesn't always work like that, but that's just 2 of the 8 districts. We spend a day in Cologne. We go up there and mingle with the Afro-Panamanian community. That's what the heart of the Afro-Panamanian community is. We're talking about the descendants of the people that migrated to help build the canal. And then they stayed, and they came from all over the Caribbean. It was a huge mass migration event. I mean, mass migration. There's a lot of people here from Jamaica and Haiti and Dominican Republic and Trinidad and Tobago, and you hear all these mixed accents together. And more importantly, for Fat Boy, they started marrying each other and sharing grandma's recipes. So now, when they fry the fish and put that sauce on top of it, oh my God, I'm in hog heaven. But we spend the day up in Cologne. We're cruising the coastline. I have a boat captain. We're on a private boat, just us, and we're drinking some abuelos, some sangria, having a good time, island hopping. We're gonna stop and talk to Black Jesus. There's 2 statues of Black Jesus up there, and then we're gonna spend the day at a beach resort on Isla Grande, and it's a Afro-Panamanian owned resort. It's a perfect last day to the tour. So that's the week-long tour. That is running $1,595 per person. That does not include airfare. It does not include hotels. And if you're coming for a relocation tour, staying in the hotel is fine. The hotel's a lovely. I have a YouTube video out there from years ago. Sorry about that. From years ago that ooh, all these questions popped in. Let me go back to the question. There we go. Um, oh yeah, I did a hotel video years ago on YouTube called "The Five Best Hotels for Snobs Like Me." Told you I was bougie, so if you want to stay at a hotel, check that video out. But I would really suggest that you stay in an Airbnb because Airbnbs are in residential buildings like the one I live in. And if you're looking to actually live in Panama, you probably should live like the expats are living in Panama. If you're in a hotel, it's a sanitized environment. The staff speaks English, and you got room service, and it's quiet. They protect hotels. The residential buildings, come out here and hear some of this traffic noise, hear some of the school bands practicing, or whatever the case may be. But start getting the feel of what it's like to be an expat. Plus, if you stay here for a week or so and you're in one of these buildings, you're going to run into other expats in the building. You hear them speaking English in the lobby or in the elevator or something. So it's a great way to build your network. So I highly suggest doing that. The other tour is a 3-day tour. It's the essentials tours. None of the tourist stuff, none of the cologne stuff. It's only meeting the experts, doing a neighborhood tour, and then going on a real estate tour. That's for people that want to come here and get all of that work done in 3 days and then spend the rest of their time kicking it at the canal or going, to Bucas del Toro or whatever the case may be. That tour is $1,100 per person. Both of them are available on our website. And that's go-explorepanama.com. All right. Another question coming in. What documents would need to be apostilled prior to moving? All of them. Anything that you need for your visa process must be apostilled. Okay, for those who don't know what an apostille is, it's a really fancy word for saying stamp. It's like a notary stamp. But in order to achieve a residency visa here, they're going to ask for some documentation: who you are, what you've been doing, who your baby mama is. And I'm playing. um, most of them is going to be like birth certificates, marriage certificate if you're married, and you need to do, visa costs can be split. It's a little cheaper, if you're married as opposed to two single people trying to do a visa. But anyway, marriage certificates involved in that. And then, if you're doing a pension auto visa, you'll need your paperwork from Social Security or whatever your private pension is, stating how much a month you get. It has to be printed out on the letter. They're looking for at least $1,000 for individual and another 250 for every dependent. So in most cases, the only dependent is going to be your spouse, because if you have children and you're retired, chances are those children are over 21 years old. They need their own visa. They can't come in under a pension auto visa. But if you're one of the rare people that could be retired and have like a 5-year-old, you're good to go. That 5-year-old can be under that visa until they turn 21, and then Panama's going to tell them to get their own visa at that point in time. So keep that in mind. But everything must be apostilled in the U.S. And I'm going to stress that a lot because you see people making a lot of mistakes. In fact, look, I'm going to be honest. I did too. We got everything apostilled except for the marriage certificate. And what harm did that cause? Well, when we came, only one of us could start the visa process, and ladies first. So Sonia started first, and I had to wait for 2 years before we went back to the US to get a updated copy of our marriage certificate. That's the other half of this equation. Let me do an aside. None of your documents can be older than 6 months. None of them can be older than 6 months. And that means when the Panamanian visa office is processing them. So in reality, for you, none of your documents can be older than 4 months, because you're going to need a couple of months of time to get through the process at the Panamanian immigration office. So Fresh documents, birth certificate, find the county you were born in, ask for a certified copy of your birth certificate, marriage certificate, wherever you were, county you were married in. You have to go to the courthouse and get an updated copy of that marriage certificate. So that's what held us up. My dad performed our wedding. He's a pastor, so I had the same certificate, and the consulate laughed at us. That's the other part of this equation. The apostille has to happen. Well, it doesn't have to happen at the Panamanian consulate, but it's the easiest path. I think your Secretary of State can do it as well. So if you're in Georgia, the Secretary of State for Georgia, North Carolina, same thing, Texas, wherever. Most of our clients that do our relocation tours work with the Panamanian consulate because it's quick, it's fast, it's easy, and they have different locations. There's a location in DC, there's one in Florida, there's one in Texas and California, and they operate by mail. So you package your stuff up, FedEx it to them, and send the money because you got to pay for it. And then they send you the documents back with the stamp, and that's what you bring with you when you come here to start the visa process. Hope that answers your question. All right. Let's go to Erica. Y'all, thank you for the participation. I'm loving it. Hello, Big Will. Our names are Erica. Hey, Erica and Ron. Oh, you're here. You're in Punta Chame. So you're right down the street. Okay, not a question, just a comment. Well, yeah, look, have fun, do your snowbird thing. You from Canada? Leave a comment if you're from Canada. As a matter of fact, everyone, leave a one if you're one from the United States, put a one in the chat and leave a two if you're from Canada. I want to see something. I appreciate it. So Love by Cha. Yes, you love music. We do too. There's a lot of music here. So get ready. Da. Oh, okay. Cool beans. Cool beans. Let me see. Are there any more questions? Okay, I see a one. There's one United States. Here comes another one. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Keep them coming. You know, it's more than y'all on that call. Somebody get involved. Get involved. There we go. Here's a good question. So Palm Solutions is great. I think that's Giovanna Burnell, right? Giovanna. She's a good person, no doubt. She gets people done well and easy. Any other lawyers would recommend? Yes, yes. The lawyer that does services for Go Explore Panama. Look, in the 2 years I've done tours, we have moved over 50 families here successfully. That's just boots on the ground. Um, PTY Lawyers is the law firm that I use. PTY, the initials, just like the airport code, PTY Lawyers. You can Google that and find their office location. The immigration's name is Katiel. It looks like Kathy with an EL on the end of it, but it's Katiel, and she's phenomenal. She did our visas. She's like when we were coming through, there were about 20 expats going through the process at the same time. We came in with a group of expats right before the deadline for the Friendly Nations visa. So Friendly Nations visa used to only be $5,000 to get in. That's how me and Sonia got in. We paid $5,000 for both of us, and that was the investment made into Panama. That same visa is now 200,000. Let that marinate. So in June of 2021, there was a whole stampede. Yeah, we were part of that stampede trying to get in under the gun, and we did it. Catil got it done. I didn't think we were going to do it. Let me back up. Remember, I told you that we didn't have our marriage certificate, apostille when we got on the plane, and we didn't know what to do. So we waited a couple of weeks because we were scared. And then we reached out to Catil, and she was like, "Come in the office now," and she saved us. So she got Sonia in under the gun, and then because I didn't have the marriage certificate, I like joking. We weren't really married in Panama. Sonia hates that joke, but whatever. It took 2 years for me to get that marriage certificate before I could start my visa process. So she's already permanent resident, has a schedule and everything. I just had to go to immigration yesterday because I am just now getting to the final step of my permanent residency because I started 2 years behind my wife. So take care of your business. like, you know, cautionary tale. Oh yeah, you're a notary. Somebody's a notary. Yes. Look, y'all make good money on that too, don't you? Let me take that one down. So let me get back a little bit on topic and talk a little bit more about general stuff in Panama while some more questions come in. Um, the visa and residency part is really important. So you need to identify which visa is going to be best for you. And you know, the best way to do that is to have a consultation with the immigration attorney. There's 26 different visas that they have available. Most people only hear about two. Those are the most common ones. And I will tell you that out of all the families that we've moved here, they were all either one or the other. I do hear about other people doing the qualified investor visa. That's a pretty sweet visa, although the investment is a little steeper than the Friendly Nations visa. Again, Friendly Nations visa is $200,000, so be ready for that. And that's 200,000 in a bank CD for 3 years, or buying property. And let's talk a little bit about property real quick. Don't buy property. Yeah, I mean, take your time. Take your time. Don't buy it as soon as you get here because you don't know anything. You really don't. We thought we knew everything. We did all the research. We have 14 tabs on my laptop open any given day. I'm a nerd, so I was information overload. I was watching all the YouTube videos. You know, look, I was watching some of the people I'm friends with now. Some of them started their videos before they actually got to Panama, like my good buddy Alonzo. I was like, what? Well, we're only 2 weeks apart. I was taking notes from you, player. Anyway, um, you know, it was difficult. It was difficult. Some of the information was outdated. I know what you're going through, so I really appreciate. Uh, I really appreciate the position that you're in, and this is why we do these kind of services to make sure that people have access to really good information. Look, you know, let you on a little secret. This is my little side ministry. I told you that my father was a pastor. I didn't follow him into that ministry, but I am all about helping my community. I'm a Morehouse alum. I follow Dr. King to Morehouse, and you know, my dad taught me how to march and get involved in civil rights. So I see what's happening. You know, the attacks on DEI, the attacks on anything with people of color is basically the return of Jim Crow. And I wanted to build a pipeline to help get people out. I know, you know, again, that's one of the reasons why we left. And I do this because I really want people to have access to good, actionable information because you're making a life changing decision. This is, you know, this ain't play. It's for real. You know, Panama's lovely, but any place has warts. There's some cons here. So, you know, while I'm on it, somebody's going to ask, let me go ahead and talk about a con, something that gets on my nerves here. It's plenty. I'll start with traffic. They drive crazy as mug in the city. Out in the interior, outside the city, they call everything else the interior. Out in the interior, you're fine. My wife drove out in Coronado. She would, you know, go by herself and run errands and everything. She felt comfortable driving out there. But in the city, so I grew up in North Carolina. I went to school in Atlanta, and then I lived in DC for 30 years. So to me, driving in Panama City is a mix between DC Beltway traffic, New York Beltway traffic during rush hour, and then just for laughs, throw in Freaknik. Anybody old enough to remember Freaknik and what happened to the traffic? Throw that in there. That's what traffic here is like. It's crazy. I've had accidents since I've been here. Luckily, the car insurance isn't that expensive, so I don't think my insurance went up after my accident. It was my fault. So, I backed into traffic and clipped the back end of a tractor trailer. It was so embarrassing, and I didn't speak. I didn't speak Spanish well, so I was sitting there trying to Google Translate my way out of this. Yeah, it was hilarious, but you know, It was easy. The insurance process is easy here. There's not too many differences than the United States, but yeah, one of the cons is traffic for me. Another con, I told you up front, manana culture. It takes time to get things done here, and you need to be patient. You know, if you're a Type A personality, director, whatever that profile we used to do back in corporate America, if you're a director type personality, you're gonna have a hard time in Panama. You're gonna need to learn how to, chill. Take a gummy and puff something. I don't know what to tell you. Pack some patience because it's gonna be tested. I'm not trying to say that things don't get done. They just don't get done at the same speed that you're used to getting done. And Americans are pretty pushy, and you know, we get loud when things don't go our way. And that just doesn't work here. It's not gonna make them go faster. In fact, they're just gonna stare at you like so. That's a couple of cons. That's a couple of cons. Let's see what's going on here with the comments coming in. Let me go back. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Look, you see all kinds of situations here. You aren't retirees, so yes, so you got to figure out the investment piece of it. And then yes, what depending on what country your husbands live in, they're going to be treated completely different than you are. So the friendly nations visa, for instance, it's for nations that are friendly to Panama. So that's the U.S., Canada, and there's a whole list of countries on it. I think the list mirrors the same, bad person list that the U.S. has. Not that we should be telling anybody, right? Uh, but as long as it's not Iran or North Korea or any of the usual suspects, I think anyone can qualify for that friendly nations visa. But the amounts may change. You know, for instance, if you just wanted to come and visit Panama and not even, you just wanted to test drive Panama, don't even look at any of the temporary visas. Like people always ask me about the digital nomad visa. It's an 18-month visa, but it's going to cost you about 3 grand to get it. If you can get it, they don't have a very good success rate with people getting it. And it's for 18 months. Instead of spending that money, just spend 6 months on your American passport. You get 6 months here without any question. You don't have to fill out any paperwork. No mother may I. Just buy your plane ticket. Just make sure you have it's going to be round trip. Just make sure your return flight is within 6 months. No one's going to ask you any questions. You'll breeze through customs, and then at the end of 6 months, go to Colombia for a 4-day vacation, and then come back, and everything resets. You'll be able to do that for 2 to 3 years before the customs agents start looking at you sideways when you come back in. And even then, they just might be like, okay, whatever, let you through. Look, there's some expats that have been doing that for decades. So look, I don't. I'm not trying to look. Lord knows, Panamanian government, if you're watching, I'm not telling people to do that for a decade. No, 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 no. I'm just saying, if you're going to be here for a couple of years, just do the. They don't care. They're not going to. They're not going to mind if you do it for a couple of years. I did it for again. My process was slow because I had to go back and get that marriage certificate. So I went to Cartagena, which is a lot of fun, y'all. It's a 50-minute flight. Let me tell you, Cartagena is my favorite spot on the planet. And then we went to Costa Rica. So we got it in. We're just talking about the nomad visa. So, wait a minute. You're talking about being here permanently. If you're talking about being here permanently, it's just going to be the friendly nations visa. The only thing that they have for remote work, just remote workers specifically, is that nomad visa. But again, it's expensive and the success rate. Just come here on that 6 month visa and kick it for a couple of years. Okay. Uh, good for you, Erica. Good for you. Here we go. San Francisco and Punta Pacifica walkable areas. Yes, 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 yes. So San Francisco is actually the largest neighborhood in Panama City, and it's like Manhattan. And in that regard, the island of Manhattan has a lot of neighborhoods, right? So Harlem is in Manhattan, the Bronx. Actually, not the Bronx, but um, you know what I'm saying. That's San Francisco. So Punta Pacifica is actually part of San Francisco, but it has its own little flavor. It's right across the street from me. We're in the same area and it's walkable. That's one of the things I absolutely love about this area. We used to live in Avenue de Balboa, which is cool. We had a good time. We lived in Avenue de Balboa about 3 years, 4 years maybe. Look, it's a lot of partying going on. Carnival is on Balboa. All the parades are there. The Cinta Costera is a 5 kilometer long fitness park and bike trail, and they got all these little pagodas. So, like, there's a pickleball pagoda. You can practice boxing. There's tennis courts and all kinds of stuff. It's gorgeous over there, but it's not as walkable because that's an ocean. And then you got what's behind you if you're on Balboa, but it's just not as walkable as Puna Pacifica and San Francisco. These are urban areas, so the landscape, is littered with coffee shops, boutique restaurants, stores, daycare centers. So like just in my 2 block radius, 5 minute walk from our apartment, there's got to be about 12 different restaurant choices. We went to a little Mexican spot, like literally around the corner. It was the first time we went there since we lived here. We've hit almost every spot, but it's a lot to do and see. So yeah, it's very, very, very walkable. Um, Depends on what part of you won't get a metro in Punta Pacifica. The metro does run through San Francisco, so the metro line here is pretty much like Atlanta's. It runs one way, and then there's another branch that goes further out. Once you get outside of downtown, it kind of look like a Y on the side. You want to envision that, but extremely nice places to live. Punta Pacifica is one of the 3 most expensive places to live in Panama City, and like I said, we're just a block off of it, and we don't pay Punta Pacifica prices. But if you've ever been to Panama City and you know where Multiplaza Mall is, one side of Multiplaza Mall is Punta Pacifica, and the other side is us. And I'm literally across the street from the mall, and y'all pray for me. Being able to walk to Bath and Body Works is not doing a good thing. The budget. Pray for me. All right. Yes. Congratulate. Oh, okay. Oh, y'all are talking to each other. I love it. Let me keep that off the chat. All right. One of my favorite subjects. Thank you, Caroline, for asking, and thank you for joining us. Yes, Chinese cars are here, and I love it. I have one. There's about 14. Actually, I've seen a couple of more brands. So let me add that. There's about 16 Chinese brands here. It's like more of them popping up overnight. It's crazy. Um, we didn't see a bunch of them when we first moved here, but they have taken over, no doubt. And the cars they're not expensive. There's a couple. The new brand I just saw is a luxury brand, so it's like the Lexus to Toyota. But if I said the names, you wouldn't know because y'all don't know Chinese cars. Everybody's always asking me, "What kind of brand is your car?" When people come on tours, I'm like, "What kind of cars?" It's like if I told you, you're not gonna know. It's a Chinese car. It's a Chinese car. It took me like 2 years to figure these brands out. But look, my car is a little subcompact SUV. It fits well in Panama because the parking spaces here tend to be small. Um, we zip around. It's got all the technology, 360-degree cameras, and there's a button on the thing where I can press it and it will park itself, parallel park or vertically. It's amazing. And it only cost me $17,000. I mean, I would expect to spend about 40, 45 grand for the same kind of technology and features in an American car. So yes, they are as good as they look, and they're everywhere. And something else about how they do things differently. So every model car is here, and they all have dealerships. There's a Cadillac dealership, there's a Ford dealership. All the American brands are here, and they all have dealerships. Japanese cars are here. The German cars are here. They all have a dealership where they sell a car and service the cars. One of the features, though, is with that is that most of them only have one dealership and is located in Panama City. So no matter where you are in the country, guess where you got to go for service? The Chinese are doing it completely differently. They are carpet bombing Panama with service centers. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing infrastructure. So if you're in car and auto, that was one of my things. We lived in car and auto for a year and a half. I always had to drive to the Honda dealership in the city to get my Honda Pilot serviced. That's why that hotel video, the 5 best hotels, we stayed in all those hotels running errands. Just coming back to the city to get medical appointments or car service or whatever. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Somebody from Germany. Let me see what's going on. Hey Max, you yelling at us in chat. Okay, see you back when you come in. Oh yes, rum and reggae. Yeah, I'll do rum and reggae cruises. I don't know, Max. It's gonna be a while. I did one for New Year's Eve, and it was a lot of work. It takes away from the relocation tours. It takes time to put those together. I used to manage a nightclub in Atlanta. That takes me back to those days. I'm trying to be Harriet Tubman and Marcus Garvey for the time right now. So it's going to be a while before I do another big rum and reggae cruise. But Max, I'll tell you what, I do private boat charters out of Panama City. We can go to Conadura Island, and I'll turn the music up real loud, and we'll have some abuelo rum and do our own rum and reggae. How about that? It'll be a lot better. Are the driving road rules good, organized? Yeah, they have a lot of the same rules. Do they pay attention to them? No. I don't know what to tell you. The easy way to get your driver's license, for instance, you can just take your American license, get an appointment at the American embassy, go in there, give them your license. They will stamp it, pay them $105, and then now all you got to do is a vision and hearing test. No written test, no driving test, no nothing. They don't even ask you if you know the rules of the road, because some of them are different. They have stop signs, they have speed limits, they drive on the right side of the road. Most of the stuff is going to be different. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same. That's what I meant. Some of the stuff, like I actually took the test because I went to the embassy 4 times. There was always something wrong when I went to the embassy. Like one time, the copy machine didn't work. So if you didn't have a photocopy or your driver's license, they sent everybody home. So that's what life as an expat is like. You got to be flexible and you got to go with the flow. All right. Yes. Car purchase process is the same, except they recently threw in a wrinkle, small wrinkle. So it's the same. You go to a car dealership, you negotiate, you pay them money, they give you a car. You can get financing if you want to. Typically financing for expats, because you don't have Panamanian credit, and Equifax doesn't exist here. They don't care about any of that kind of stuff. Equifax doesn't exist here. I could care less what's going on with any of my credit stuff in the United States. But if you want to finance a car here, typically expect to spend 20% down. Same thing for a property if you finance it. And also, here's a major difference in financing between the United States and Panama. They will not finance people older than 70 years old. They will not finance you past your 70th birthday. Let me put it that way. So I'm 56. If I were to buy a mortgage, I would get 14 years to pay that off. That's it. Keep that in mind. I bought my cars in cash, so no problems. The wrinkle that just came in, I don't even know if this is nationwide. It could be. But anyway, when I first came and bought a car, I bought the car and left with the car that day. Now there's a 5-day waiting period. Y'all, I just bought a new vehicle for the business yesterday. I said, I'm waiting for it. I don't have it. They have my money. They definitely have the money. And I have the bill of sale and all that good stuff. And since I went through this with the Chinese car, I'm not stressing it now because I know they'll call me to come pick up the car. But that's the wrinkle. There's a 5-day period. And the reason for that is they added some administrative stuff on the back end that the dealer has to do with City Hall so that the government can make more money, just like the US. All right. Always events, always events, always events. So the best way to keep track of events, number one, join Facebook groups that are related to Panama. Instagram. A lot of Panamanian businesses use Instagram. That's like their go-to thing here. So restaurants, nightclubs, concerts, whatever, meetups. Actually, not meetups. The Facebook group is going to be good for meetups. And then, there's like there's an expat restaurant in Panama City called Daiquiri 23. You can go there any night of the week if you want to. I will say this. Let me while I'm on expats and community building. When you're new, yes, all of that is fun and it's fine because you're trying to build a community and a network. The dark side, the dark side can be this. You have a really well-defined social network already in the US, and now you're going to come here and build one from scratch. So it's going to be like being in the ninth grade and going to a different high school. You don't know if these are the cool kids or these the mean girls. You got to spend some time and find them out and find out what's going on. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of that going on. And then, there's stuff. We were at game night last night. One of Sonia's cousins is in town. So we went to Daiquiri 23 and they had game night. The guys showed up, started playing games, and we knew everybody in here because we live here. We live here. We've been here 5 years, so the meetups. We're like, yeah, we know everybody. We go to Panamanian spots now. Our circle has expanded beyond other Americans. Because truth be told, we did move here to get away from some of y'all. I know some of y'all feel the same way. We're not nice people. You see what's going on. Panamanians are salt of the earth. Look, they help you out. And I think it's about vets. Okay. Panama City, there's several hospitals that take TRICARE. They just had a shakeup about 2 years ago. There were some clinics that were improperly billing the VA and they had to get slapped down. So Panama took it away from some of the clinics. Like there was a hospital out in Brices del Golf that everybody used to go to when I first moved here. You can't go to that hospital anymore. It's on the bad list. The two hospitals I know in Panama City are the Panama Clinic and Pacifica Salud. And that's good because those are the two best hospitals in the country. So that's good. I use both of them. In fact, they're both in Punta Pacifica. Someone was asking about Punta Pacifica. They're around the corner for me. But you can do stuff. And I think at this point, they may be doing direct billing. I know they do reimbursement, but you have to get pre-approved before you get your procedure done. So get in contact with the VSO. We have that contact and it's located in our blueprint. We have a new thing called the Panama Relocation Blueprint, which is an online course. As a matter of fact, this is a good time to show it to you. I'm talking about it. Give me just a second. Here we go. All right. Panama Relocation Blueprint. This is an online, self-guided roadmap for anyone looking to move to Panama. It's chock full of information. Y'all, we put this together from the hundreds of consultation calls, the hundreds of relocation tours, because we've moved over 50 families here already, but there's another 50 that are in the United States that have gone through relocation tours and are just tying up loose ends before they come. So we are doing a good job here. This course covers everything. Let me get down to the modules. So you'll get, you know, hours and hours of video instruction, covering cost of living, legal landscape in detail, not the high level stuff I did tonight, how to open up your bank account, how to get over on your taxes, not get over, but the sweet legal exemptions that you get to use. I don't know who's watching. The legal exemptions you get to use. Y'all, we haven't paid taxes in 4 years. So, and it's completely legal, completely legal. Uh, we do deep dive, city versus the beach versus the mountains, how to find rentals without getting gouged, healthcare, logistics, big stuff, shipping, bring your pets, what to leave behind, and then all the documents that you're going to need. Look, it's all in here. We also, there's a little blurb about me. You can learn some more. And that's me driving one of the boats that I'm going to take you out on. We give you free previews of some of the stuff so that you can take it for a test drive before you actually decide to buy. Because we want, like right here, choosing the right visa. Look, that's 30 minutes of instruction along with the downloads that you need to go with it. So by all means, come here, kick the tires, do the free preview, and you see that it's available for $199. But guess what? You guys, because you are here, you get a limited time offer for 50% off. That's half, half off. Just use that code at checkout. And by the way, to get to that website, that QR code that's at the bottom of the screen, just click that. And that will take you right to the website and you can do the free preview. And if you decide that it's good, have at it. But Max, I'm telling you right now, the VSO information that you need, it's in there, along with some other doctors and whatnot. All right. Oh, wait a minute. That's not, oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Y'all, I'm trying to draw this thing and be saying at the same time. All right. Ooh, here's a question. Venmo, Cash App, and Zelle work in Panama for business? No, only between expats. Panamanian businesses do not accept any of those. Hoping others work well in Panama. So we pay each other. Yeah, expats will, we go out to eat. We Zelle money to each other. We Cash App because we brought it with us. But the Panamanian businesses do not use those apps. They use their own Panamanian apps. So one of the cool features of banking here in Panama is that they don't need Cash App or Zelle or Venmo. Their banks do what those apps do natively. They don't need an app. So let me explain it. We have a bank account at Banismo. It's just one of the many banks here. I can log into my account on my phone and I can send anyone money as long as I have their name, the name of their bank, their account number, and whether or not it's a checking or savings account. And y'all, this is common information to ask for here. I pay my rent this way. I paid the electric bill this way. I've paid the maid this way. So I like to give her cash because it feels good. But every so often, I haven't run to the ATM, so I just transfer the money, and it's free. It's free. It's free. It doesn't cost a dime. They all can do it, so they don't have need for Venmo, Cash App, or Zelle. They have their own stuff. Expats bring it with them. So yes, you will be able to conduct business with your friends or, send money back home and all that good stuff or get money. One of the things you really need to start focusing on is how you're going to access your money from here. Are you going to keep all your money US and just, get money as you need from here? Because so it's going to cost, wire transfers cost on both sides. My bank charges $60 in the United States, and the bank here charges $40. So that's $100 to send money. ATMs cost. They know Americans can get $500 a day in cash. So the ATM network here got smart. They limit us to $250 in cash per transaction. They'll let you do 2 transactions, but you're gonna pay for it twice. And guess how much it is per transaction? There, I'll tell you, $7.20. So, start coming up with a plan for that. It's in the blueprint. I'll tell you that much. We have a plan for you, but you don't have the blueprint. You're going to figure it out. Ask somebody, do something. I don't know, but you are going to have to figure that out because it can get old and expensive real quick. Ah, do I know anything about shipping a car there from the US? I know a lot. So let's cover that real quick. That's a great question. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's expensive. Number one, the car that you're shipping must be paid for free and clear. You cannot ship a car that you're making payments on. It has to clear Panamanian customs, and you're going to pay an import tax on it. The import tax is 7% of what they say the car is worth. And emphasis on what they say. I know you're going to come with Kelly Blue Book and say, hey, it's only worth this much, but they don't care about Kelly Blue Book. They have their own book. So what is worth to them is what you're going to pay in import tax. That doesn't even count the shipping. To ship it, you're going to have to find a qualified shipper who can actually get your car through customs. That's the question you need to be asking people. Everybody will tell you they can come pick up your car, put it on a boat. What they won't tell you is that they'll leave that car on the Panamanian docks, not having cleared customs, and expect you to clear that car out of customs. And you're not going to be able to do it by yourself. You're going to have to hire a whole other company here and pay them a whole bunch of money because now they know that you're trapped. So make sure on the front end you get a good company who goes all the way through. We have contacts for that too. Let's talk about, should you ship your car, because that is the other side of the fence. If you're like me, you're planning on shipping your car. I had a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and I was already, getting it lifted and getting knobby tires on it. I was getting ready for Panama. Here's the issue with bringing your American car to Panama. The United States of America is in the North American region as far as automakers are concerned. Panama is Central America. We're in the South American car region. And guess what auto manufacturers do? They make the same models for the North and South American region, but the parts fit differently because they don't want you bringing your car. They want you to buy a new car. So there are people who are stubborn who bring their cars, but invariably 2, 3, 4 years down the road, they run into problems because it's maintenance. How are you going to keep your car maintenance? If your oil filter screws on clockwise, but the only oil filters here screw on counterclockwise, you're in trouble. You're going to have to order that and wait for it to be delivered and all that good stuff. It gets messy real fast. So take a really, really long look and think about if it's worth shipping your car. The 7% import tax is probably going to stop a lot of people too, because it's just off the top of my head, it's about $13,000 to ship your car before the tax. So, depending on how much car you're worth, you may be 20 grand into it. Just buy a new car. That Chinese car I bought was 17,000. Do the math. Hope that helps. You've been looking. Look at it. Those are Chinese brands. Yes. Look, JQ is the luxury brand for Omada. So, go figure. I just learned that. Hey, Toronto, I see you. Why did I move from Coronado to Panama City? All right. Couple of reasons. The main reason was go explore Panama. The business was taking off. I was doing consultation calls with people at a pretty fair clip, and everybody started asking if they could meet. Hey, Big Will, look at me in Panama. Can we hook up? And, I knew that I needed to, commodify this into a business. So, and then I wasn't going to be able to do that in Coronado. Just Panama is where all the resources are, is where the hotels are, is where all the culture is. So I'm not going to say all the culture. Let me pull back on that. Coronado has a unique culture, and there are a lot of people that love it. It just wasn't for us. There are a lot of Canadian snowbirds down there. There are a lot of people from the United States. So Coronado is basically a gated community, and it's not real Panama, in my opinion. It's built keep real Panama out. It's more like, North America South. And we didn't move to Central America to be around the same stuff that we left. The restaurants in Coronado, you sat down, the menus were in English. They don't do that in the city. It's a Spanish speaking country. I remember, after being there a few weeks and thinking, when I moved here, I was going to learn how to salsa and be Ricky Ricardo and all this stuff. But every time we go out to eat or something, they're playing Wham. I like George Michael, but I didn't move to Panama to listen to George Michael. I moved to Panama to listen to Ruben Blades. Oh, that's how they say it. Ruben Blades. So it's a personal thing. It's a personal thing, Irene. You look, the Canadians down there are having a really good time. They're loving it. You guys have access to an airport down there that the rest of us don't have access to. There's an airport maybe 20 minutes away from Coronado where you can land a jet. It's a passenger jet service. I think is it WestJet? I can't remember I know it's red and white, but I can't remember the name of the line. But it's only 4 flights to Toronto. That's it. The rest of us have to drive to Panama City. The 50% off code. Let me put that back on the screen. Here we go. Expat Life 122. Expat Life 122. I'll leave that running. Let me know how I got off. Anyway, comments. Oh, whoa. My bad. Yes. Oh, heck yeah. No problems. Like I said, we have the apps. So, I have Cash App. I use it and I access my money and then I send it to other people. It's all good. It's all good. Hey, I really appreciate all of the engagement tonight. You guys have been a fun crew. I'm gonna wrap this up because we've been on this call for a little over an hour, and that's tango muchos hombre. It means I'm very hungry. And I can smell what my wife is cooking. So let me check my notes, make sure I've told you everything that I planned on telling you. We talked a little bit of cost of living. We talked about real estate, healthcare. Anybody have pets? We have a fur dog. Look, pets are easy. You can bring your pets. Don't worry about that home quarantine thing. It's really easy. As long as your paperwork is straight and apostilled, like the rest of the stuff, they'll send your dog home with you for the quarantine. Your dog will not, or cat will not have to stay at the airport. No one asked about working in Panama, but to work in Panama, you need a visa that allows for a work permit. And you need to realize that Panamanians make less money than Americans do. So same dollars, but you're not going to make nearly the kind of money you made. 30,000 is a middle class salary here. So keep that in mind. I would really highly suggest you try to figure out a way to bring your work with you because things get sweet. So we moved as remote workers, supporting the federal government. We brought our DC salaries, and because you get to exempt as a couple. I'll just do individual. Right now, this is $120,000 a year that you get to exempt from your income for living in a foreign country 330 days out of that calendar tax year. So you have to be here for a full year before you can do this. So we moved in 21. We did not claim this until 22 taxes. We had to be here for all of 22 to claim that on those taxes. But that's $120,000 per person. So 240 a couple. Ooh, no taxes. You still have to pay your Social Security and your Medicare. You have to pay that contribution, but that's like 12, 14,000 a year. So you can save up for that. Oh yeah, talked about the relocation blueprint. And somebody already asked me about relocation tours. Yay. Oh, okay. So 2026, yes. big things happening. We're going to start doing medical tourism tours so people can come and get bridge work and all that good dental stuff done here. Y'all, it's cheap. It's cheap. So it's actually cheaper to come here, stay in a fat hotel, hang out with Big Will for a week, and get your dental work done than it is to just get your dental work done in the United States. And it's crazy. They're really good. Look, I've had teeth pulled here. Doctors here is very common for them to contact you on WhatsApp on your phone. So, the night after I had my teeth extracted, the surgeon's calling me and having me show him my mouth so he knows what's going on with the swelling. And then he called back the next day and the next day. So they do good follow up here. That's why we're going to be doing medical tourism tours and real estate investment tours. So keep a lookout for that. And the last thing, soon as I finish, I'm right in the middle of negotiating with a local hotel to be the host hotel for my group tours. We'll start introducing group tours of up to 20 people, and we're going to do 4 of them this year. So those dates will be coming out in the next 2 or 3 weeks as soon as I sign this paperwork with everybody. So be on the lookout for that. That would be a really good opportunity. You know, double occupancy. So bring a friend, bring a friend, bring a friend so that you guys can share a room and have some fun. But look, final call to action. Don't just dream about coming to Panama. Come explore it with us. Give us a call. Book consultation calls, y'all. We do hour-long consultation calls to answer all of your questions specifically. Let me put my information up on the screen. Hope y'all got the code by now, Expat Life 122. There's my contact information and the email address. In the website, scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So contact us if you have any questions. Email me with your questions or plans for coming down. Everything about our tours and excursions on the website. The booking calendar is always up to date. It syncs with my personal calendar. So if I go on vacation, because we're going to Boca del Toro for Valentine's Day, I'm about to get 1 million cool husband points. Y'all have no idea. Anyway, it's synced with the calendar. So when I do stuff like that, it'll block out. You won't be able to do a relocation tour during that time period. So we're here to help and love to help. And I really, really, really appreciate everyone for joining tonight. And with that, I'm going to sign off. You'll get an email in the next day or two with the link to the replay to this in case you missed anything or joined late. So thanks for joining, everyone. Ciao. Hasta luego.